one of the criminals who hung there hurled insults at him. Aren't you the Christ? Save yourself and us. But the other criminal rebuked him. Do you not fear God, he said, since you are under the same sentence? We are punished justly, for we are getting what our deeds deserve. But this man has done nothing. Then he said, Jesus, remember me when you come into your kingdom. Verse 23 said, Jesus answered him, I tell you the truth, today you will be with me in paradise. I'd like to leave this thought with you this morning. An outpour on the outlaw. Have a seat. An outpour on the outlaw. Now, when people like at the age of Brother Oscar were growing up, and people at the age of Brother McCoy were growing up, and certainly Brother Theophilus, they had Western movies, and you could always tell the difference between the good guys and the bad guys. The good guys always wore tall white hats, and the bad guys wore black hats. Well, let me tell you something. It's not always like that when it comes to spiritual outlaws. Ain't no hats to identify a spiritual outlaw. There's no hat to identify the spiritual good guy. But there is a testimony and an outpour that comes from heaven that will convert the outlaw into the good guy when they confess Jesus Christ. And that is what we find happening here on this day when Jesus was being crucified. We find that while everybody else was sitting around there just thinking that this was just a crucifixion, somebody realized that there was something different going on. Any of y'all know what I'm talking about? Anybody will be around where it look like there's a ruckus going on, but you spot that there's something different going on? Anybody be around where it look like things are happening the wrong way, but all of a sudden you realize that there's a move of God going on? Anybody be around where it look like it's bad, but all of a sudden something good come out of it? That's what happens when there is an outpour on the outlaw. Now, I could talk about the outlaw and talk about somebody else. Or I could turn around and get a mirror and look at myself. I could look at the thief on the cross and talk about him, or I could talk about the thief in the church. I could talk about the thief on the cross. I could talk about the thief in his marriage. I could talk about the thief on the cross. Or I could talk about the thief in the community. It's up to you all which one we talk about today. But what we find is that regardless of where you were a thief or are a thief, or regardless of the thief around you, there's still hope for them. Somebody said there's hope for them. You see, many of us have thrown the thieves out of our houses. It's a good thing our mama didn't throw us out when we were the thief, because there was an outpour for each and every one of us. Does everyone understand what I'm talking about today? No, you may not be a criminal thief. No, you may not really be a really bad person. I don't believe any of y'all, God bless you, love you all, are really bad people. But one day you might run into somebody that doesn't know Jesus. And if you're not careful, just because you know him and you're a good person now, you might believe they're too bad to get the same thing that you got. You might believe that you can't speak a word of life to them and they be converted just like you are. You may not believe that they can be outside and be on inside. Just in case you run into somebody, it's time for us to have an outpour for the outlaw. And guess what, folks? There's time. There's time. There's time. It wasn't too late, Lee. This thief hanging on the cross, getting ready to die in his last hour. Just catch this picture for me. Y'all excuse me, because I might just go crazy here in a minute. Because you need to catch this picture that this is a thief on the cross in his last hour. ain't going to have time to give no tithe and no offering. This is a thief on the cross in his last hour. Ain't going to have no time to teach, no Sunday school, no Bible study. This is a thief on the cross in his last moment, his last hour. Ain't going to have time to apologize to everybody that he did wrong. This is a thief on the cross in his last hour. Ain't going to be able to repay nobody for what he's done. This is a thief on the cross. Oh, don't make me do this. Don't make me say it. Jesus took a thief off the cross and let a baby mama walk up in the church. We want to put him out. Jesus took a thief on the cross. Let a drunk walk in the church, and we don't want to be around him. Jesus took a thief on the cross. Let a prostitute walk by us, and we gonna turn and run away. Jesus took a thief on the cross. Last hour, last moment. There's always time for everybody.